The 1970 United States quarter dollar, bearing the familiar inscriptions Liberty across the top and In God We Trust proudly beside the portrait of George Washington, represents far more than a simple piece of circulating coinage. It is a small metal artifact that bridges the gap between the silver era of U.S. coinage and the modern clad composition that defines our present-day currency. Struck at the Denver Mint, denoted by the small D mint mark placed just to the right of Washington's ponytail ribbon, this coin belongs to the long-running Washington Quarter Series, first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the bicentennial of Washington's birth. By 1970, the original purpose of honoring the first president had evolved into a standard circulation coin that was struck in the hundreds of millions each year, but collectors and historians still find distinct value in examining the specific traits and subtle varieties of each date and mint mark combination. The 1970 quarter is part of the earliest full decade of clad coinage quarters, which began in 1965 when the U.S. Mint ceased the use of 90% silver to combat the rising cost of precious metals and widespread hoarding during the mid-century coin shortage. Instead, quarters from 1970 are made from a copper-nickel blend, consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel layers over a pure copper core, easily identified by the visible reddish-orange band along the coin's reeded edge. Each quarter weighs approximately 5.67 grams, measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter, and features a thickness of about 1.75 millimeters, produced through high-pressure coining at speeds unimaginable during earlier minting eras. Despite being a common circulation date, with an estimated 200 million or more pieces struck, not all 1970 quarters are created equal. Many have survived only in worn condition due to decades of daily commerce, rattling in vending machines, and clinking in change jars across America. These circulation-worn examples typically hold only face value, meaning their purchasing power remains just 25 cents, unless they possess a rare minting error or exceptionally sharp strike. However, uncirculated specimens, particularly those with vibrant mint luster, a flash of cartwheel shine visible when tilted under light, can command higher prices, especially when graded by professional certification services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. A typical mint state 63 to 65 graded 1970 quarter may bring $5 to $20, while high-end examples graded MS 67 or above become significantly scarcer due to contact marks and abrasions that occur during mass minting and transport. Coins struck with exceptionally strong full drum details on the reverse depiction of the heraldic eagle, designed by John Flanagan, after Jean-Antoine Houdon's famous bust of Washington, are especially prized, as sharp reverse strikes were not always consistently achieved on clad planchets during this period. Beyond condition rarity, the 1970 quarter is particularly famous among specialists for dramatic and highly collectible minting errors, some of which have gained legendary status. Chief among these is the astonishing 1970 S-proof quarter struck over a 1941 Canadian quarter, discovered in recent decades and verified by experts, causing shockwaves in the numismatic community. Although this specific error came from the San Francisco Mint, not Denver, its notoriety helped draw wider attention to all quarters of the 1970 era, including the 1970 as collectors began searching more intently for anomalies. For Denver-minted coins, more commonly encountered errors include off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing due to misalignment, clipped planchets, where a crescent-shaped bite appears missing from the edge, die cracks, where raised lines snake across the surface due to aging mint dies, and double dies, in which letters such as Liberty or In God We Trust appear faintly doubled. A strong double die obverse or reverse from 1970 could fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on eye appeal and severity, making change-checking enthusiasts across the country hopeful that one overlooked gem might still lurk in everyday circulation. Symbolically, the 1970 quarter also reflects the cultural transition of America itself. It circulated during a time of Vietnam War protests, Apollo space missions, civil rights struggles, and the dawn of modern consumerism. It passed through hands at gas stations where fuel costs less than 40 cents per gallon, into arcade machines, payphones, and bubblegum dispensers, living a lifespan that intertwines with millions of untold stories. Though seemingly mundane today, each quarter minted in 1970 helped form the backbone of commerce during an era before debit cards, mobile payments, or digital wallets existed. Holding one today, especially a sharply struck, well-preserved 1970 specimen next top. The 1972 United States quarter dollar, bearing the inscriptions Liberty across the top of its obverse and In God We Trust nestled to the left of the dignified portrait of George Washington, is more than just a common piece of American coinage. It is a small but meaningful artifact of national identity and mid-20th century culture. A metallic lens through which one can view not only the evolution of United States currency, but also the everyday lives of millions of citizens who handled it without a second thought. By 1972, the Washington Quarter Series, first introduced in 1932 to honor the bicentennial of Washington's birth, had long since transitioned from commemorative issue to the default design for the country's 25-cent piece. Although originally struck in 90% silver, this composition was discontinued in 1965 amid rising bullion prices and widespread coin hoarding. Thus, the 1972 quarter belongs firmly to the copper-nickel-clad era, consisting of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a core of pure copper, giving it that distinct reddish-bronze stripe visible along the reeded edge, a visual clue instantly recognizable to even casual observers. It weighs precisely 5.67 grams, measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter, and features a thickness of just under 1.8 millimeters, dimensions that have remained consistent for over half a century. The obverse design, sculpted by John Flanagan, portrays Washington in left-facing profile, his hair tied back with a ribbon that anchors one of his most iconic depictions. The reverse of the coin, also designed by Flanagan, displays a bold heraldic eagle, wings spread in authority, clutching a bundle of arrows to signify strength and vigilance, with olive branches beneath symbolizing peace, a duality that captures the nation's spirit of readiness and restraint. Above the eagle arches the inscription United States of America, with the denomination quarter dollar engraved below, and centered above the bird in smaller letters lies E pluribus unum, Latin for out of many one, the traditional motto reminding all who spend it that unity lies at the core of the nation's identity. The 1972 quarter was minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark for proof coins. Philadelphia produced the largest share, striking over 215 million pieces, while Denver contributed another 311 million, making the total circulation mintage over 500 million, making this one of the most abundant quarters in U.S. history. Meanwhile, the San Francisco Mint did not release circulation coins, but rather manufactured 3.2 million proof specimens, specially struck with polished dies and mirrored fields for collectors. Because the mintage numbers were so high, most 1972 quarters found today in circulation bear heavy wear, with flattened rims, smooth hair details on Washington, and weak lettering on Trust or Liberty. In this worn state, they typically hold only face value, worth exactly 25 cents in daily commerce. However, preserved mint state examples, particularly those never released into circulation and kept in original mint sets, can display vibrant cartwheel luster, finely frosted details, and strong strike quality, all of which significantly increase desirability among numismatists. In MS-65 gem uncirculated grades, a 1972 Philadelphia or Denver quarter might command $10 to $25, while coins graded MS-67 or above become substantially rarer due to contact marks that occur during high-speed mass production. The San Francisco proof versions, typically found with either brilliant mirrored fields or cameo frosted contrast, are more affordable in PR-65 to PR-69 condition, usually trading for $5 to $15, though deep cameo examples may bring more. Yet what truly makes 1972 quarters a captivating subject for collectors are the error and variety coins that escaped the mint's quality control. Some of the most prized errors include off-center strikes, where part of Washington's profile or the eagle is missing due to planchet misalignment, clipped planchets, where the coin appears to have a crescent-shaped bite taken out of it, die cracks and cud breaks, where raised metal lines or blobs form from deteriorating dies, and double die obverse or reverse varieties, in which letters like Liberty, Trust, or E pluribus unum appear faintly duplicated due to misaligned die impressions. Although major double die 1972 quarters are far less famous than those found on 1972 Lincoln cents, they do exist in scarcer forms and can sell for hundreds of dollars depending on prominence and clarity. Another fascinating area of specialty interest concerns struck-through errors, where foreign debris, such as cloth fibers, grease, or even wire fragments, was caught between the die and planchet, leaving unusual depressions or textures on the coin's surface. Such anomalies are highly sought after due to their uniqueness. No two are alike, making the next top. The 1973 United States quarter dollar, commonly referred to as the Washington quarter, is an iconic piece of American currency that reflects both historical continuity and everyday utility. Featuring the bold inscriptions Liberty at the top, In God We Trust, on the left side of the obverse front, and the year 1973 at the bottom beneath George Washington's bust, this coin embodies the long-standing tradition of national symbolism through coinage. The obverse was designed by John Flanagan in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, and this design remained virtually unchanged for decades, including on the 1973 issue. Unlike the pre-1965 quarters, which were composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, the 1973 quarter belongs to the clad era, consisting of a copper-nickel outer layer bonded to a pure copper core. This composition gives it a silvery appearance while significantly reducing its intrinsic metal value, making its worth based largely on numismatic condition rather than precious content. On the reverse side of the 1973 quarter, an American bald eagle is prominently displayed, wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows symbolizing national defense, with olive branches below representing peace. Surrounding the design are the inscriptions United States of America at the top and quarter dollar at the bottom, while E pluribus unum, out of many one, is placed between the eagle and the nation's name, reinforcing unity as a core national ideal. The mint marks for this year are found to the right of Washington's ponytail, just above the 9 in the date. Coins minted in Philadelphia bear no mint mark, those from Denver show a D, and those from San Francisco bear an S, and are typically proof coins with a mirror-like finish, produced for collectors rather than circulation. While billions of these coins were minted for general use in 1973, meaning most circulated examples carry only face value of 25 cents today, uncirculated or high-grade mint state, MS, 65 or above, specimens, especially those with strong luster, clean surfaces, and full strike, can fetch several dollars or even more among collectors. The S-mint-proof versions, particularly the deep cameo varieties with frosted designs set against reflective fields, are especially prized. Additionally, rare minting errors, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or clipped planchets, can dramatically increase value depending on rarity and severity. While the 1973 quarter is not composed of silver in standard circulation form, special silver-proof sets were not yet reintroduced at this time. They would return later in 1992, so any 1973 quarter found in silver is either a novelty or plated after minting. Due to its durable clad composition, most surviving 1973 quarters today still circulate widely in everyday commerce, in pocket change, vending machines, and coin rolls, making it a nostalgic yet commonplace reminder of American monetary tradition. Still, to numismatists, coin collectors, the coin serves as an important representation of the pre-statehood quarter era, standing between the last silver coins of the early 1960s and the more modern commemorative designs that began in 1999. For historians or enthusiasts, the inscriptions, In God We Trust and Liberty are more than mere words. They serve as philosophical pillars etched into metal, symbolizing the nation's values and resilience throughout decades of economic change. Whether held for investment, casual collecting, or simple appreciation of history, The 1973 Washington Quarter remains a humble yet enduring artifact of American life, easily overlooked in daily transactions yet rich with design legacy, cultural meaning, and quiet storytelling power. Next top. The 1974 United States quarter dollar, commonly known as the Washington Quarter, is part of a long-running coin series first issued in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Unlike the earliest issues struck in 90% silver, the 1974 quarter was produced after the U.S. Mint abandoned silver coinage in 1965 due to rising silver prices and widespread hoarding. As a result, quarters minted in 1974 were composed of a copper core clad between two layers of cupronickel, creating the now familiar sandwich appearance visible along the coin's reeded edge. The obverse front of the coin features a left-facing bust of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, with the word Liberty boldly arched above his head and the enduring national motto, "In God We Trust," positioned just left of his profile. Beneath Washington's portrait appears the date, 1974, identifying its year of mintage. The reverse back displays a heraldic bald eagle perched atop a bundle of arrows, symbolic of strength and readiness for defense, flanked by two olive branches representing peace. Above the eagle reads United States of America, and just below it, E pluribus unum, Latin for out of many one, a phrase affirming national unity. Finally, the bottom carries the denomination quarter dollar. Millions of these coins were minted at Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S, though the S mint coins from that year were primarily proof strikes, produced with mirror-like surfaces for collectors. In everyday circulation, most 1974 quarters hold only face value, 25 cents, unless preserved in exceptional uncirculated MS or proof PR condition. Well-preserved examples graded MS 65 or higher by coin certification services may fetch anywhere from a few dollars to over $100, depending on luster, sharpness of strike, and absence of wear. Additionally, collectors sometimes search for minting errors, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or clipped planchets, which can significantly increase a coin's value. Because 1974 was not a key or low mintage year, most surviving specimens are common, but full-strike quarters with fully defined details in Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers are especially desirable among numismatists. Beyond monetary worth, the coin stands as a cultural artifact, a small yet enduring reminder of the era's economics, technology, and national values. Its inscriptions, "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," reflect the United States' long-standing emphasis on personal freedom and spiritual acknowledgement, embedded in even the smallest objects of daily life. Although millions of people handle these coins without a second thought, each 1974 quarter carries with it the story of changing metal policies, Cold War-era manufacturing practices, and the continued honoring of America's first president. Whether resting quietly in a pocket, saved in a collection, or forgotten in a jar, the 1974 quarter remains an everyday ambassador of American history, one that links the past to the present through weight, wear, and timeless design. Next top. The 1977 United States quarter dollar, commonly referred to as the Washington Quarter, is a small yet historically significant circulating coin that represents far more than its modest 25-cent monetary value. Struck during a transformative decade in American history, this quarter reflects the economic resilience, cultural identity, and evolving coinage technology of the late 20th century. Like all Washington quarters minted from 1965 onward, the 1977 issue is made not from silver, as older collectors sometimes assume, but from a modern clad composition consisting of a pure copper core sandwiched between two outer layers of cupronickel alloy, 75% copper, 25% nickel. This clad transition had begun in response to rising silver prices in the 1960s, and by 1977, the copper-nickel quarter had become fully accepted as the national standard. On the obverse front of the coin appears the enduring portrait of George Washington, rendered in a left-facing profile designed by sculptor John Flanagan. Above his head stretches the iconic word Liberty, a reminder of the country's founding ideals, while nestled to the left of his neck is the revered American motto, "In God We Trust," first added to coinage in the 19th century and now firmly established as a declaration of national faith. Beneath Washington's bust lies the date, 1977, anchoring the coin in time and distinguishing it from earlier and later issues. Depending on where it was minted, the coin may display a small mint mark just beside the ribbon of Washington's ponytail, a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or no mint mark at all, which signifies production at the Philadelphia Mint. The reverse, back, features a powerful image of the bald eagle, America's national bird, perched confidently upon a bundle of arrows, symbolizing preparedness and defense. Beneath the eagle sits an olive branch, signifying peace, thereby expressing the delicate balance between strength and diplomacy. Above the eagle arcs the proud legend, United States of America, followed by the Latin motto, E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one. At the bottom is inscribed the coin's denomination, quarter dollar. In terms of production, hundreds of millions of these coins were minted in 1977, making them very common in circulation, and as such, most surviving examples found in pocket change today are worth only face value. However, uncirculated or mint state examples, especially those graded MS, 65 or higher, can command modest premiums from collectors, often ranging from a few dollars up to $100 or more depending on condition, luster, and eye appeal. Even more valuable are the proof strikes produced at the San Francisco Mint, which were sold directly to collectors in sealed mint sets. These coins often exhibit mirror-like fields and frosted designs, making them highly prized for display rather than everyday use. In addition, collectors and hobbyists sometimes search for rare minting errors, such as double dies, clipped planchets, or off-center strikes, which can raise the coin's value dramatically depending on severity and visual clarity. But beyond its potential monetary worth, the 1977 Washington quarter represents a snapshot of American life in the late 1970s, a time of political transition, technological advancement, and everyday resilience. It circulated through the hands of students buying snacks for a few cents, commuters feeding vending machines, and families saving change in jars for vacations or gasoline, which at the time cost under $1 per gallon. The inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" were more than mere embellishments. They were quiet affirmations of national principles printed on millions of coins passed between neighbors and strangers alike. Even today, holding a 1977 quarter is like gripping a fragment of living history, a familiar object worn smooth by grocery store counters, bus fare boxes, and countless daily transactions. Though small in size, it remains a powerful symbol of continuity, representing not just currency, but culture, craftsmanship, and the enduring legacy of the 1978 United States quarter dollar, often casually referred to as a 78 Washington quarter, stands as one of the final representatives of the late pre-statehood era of U.S. circulating coinage, minted before the significant aesthetic and numismatic transformation that would later sweep American currency in the late 20th and early 21st centuries. Struck as part of the long-running Washington quarter series, which began in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, the 1978 issue continued the traditional design created by sculptor John Flanagan, itself adapted from a bust of Washington originally modeled by Jean-Antoine Houdon in 1785. The obverse, front, prominently features Washington's left-facing profile, accompanied by inscriptions familiar to nearly every American, the bold word "Liberty" arcing across the top and "In God We Trust" situated neatly to the left of the portrait, serving as both a testament to national identity and an expression of the country's long-standing motto officially adopted in 1956. Below Washington's neckline lies the date, 1978, anchoring the coin securely within the economic and social complexities of its time. The reverse, back, displays a powerful heraldic bald eagle, wings spread majestically while perched atop a bundle of arrows, symbolizing military readiness, with olive branches placed below to represent peace, an intentional duality reflecting America's self-image as strong yet principled. Around the eagle are the inscriptions, "United States of America," above and quarter dollar below, with e pluribus unum nestled just above the eagle's head, reinforcing the ideal of unity amid diversity. From a technical standpoint, every circulating 1978 quarter was composed of cupronickel-clad copper, featuring outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, resulting in an overall metallic composition of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel. Each coin weighed approximately 5.67 grams, measured 24.3 millimeters in diameter, and featured a reeded edge, not merely for tactile identity, but historically as a deterrent against the illegal shaving of precious metal from earlier silver coins. While pre-1965 quarters were made of 90% silver, the 1978 quarter, like all quarters struck from 1965 onward, reflected America's transition away from precious metal coinage, a response to rising silver prices and increasing production costs. In 1978, over 700 million quarters were struck across two federal mint facilities, the Philadelphia Mint, which struck coins without a mint mark, and the Denver Mint, whose coins bear the letter D just right of the ribbon below Washington's neck. Notably, no quarters were minted in San Francisco for circulation that year, though proof versions, featuring a mirror-like finish and struck with precision dies, were produced strictly for collectors and bear the S mint mark. In terms of rarity, circulated 1978 quarters remain extremely common, still frequently spotted in pocket change over 4 decades later, while uncirculated or high-grade certified examples, graded MS, 65 or higher, can carry modest numismatic premiums, especially if exhibiting full-strike details, luster surfaces, or exceptional preservation free from wear, contact marks, or discoloration. While face value remains 25 cents, the collectability and worth of a 1978 quarter depend heavily on condition and variety. A typical circulated example is generally worth only its face value, but uncirculated Philadelphia or Denver quarters can range from $1 to $5 depending on luster and strike quality, while proof coins, sold originally in sealed collector sets, may fetch $5 to $15 or more, particularly if graded PR 69 or PR 70 deep cameo by third-party grading services like PCGS or NGC. Some collectors specialize in hunting for die varieties, such as double die obverse or struck-through errors, although 1978 is not exceptionally notable for major varieties compared to other years. From a cultural perspective, the 1978 quarter occupies a unique place in late 20th century American life. It circulated at a time when gasoline cost under $1 per gallon. Arcade games like Space Invaders were becoming a sensation and frequently operated on quarter-based machines, and payphones still required a single coin to connect a conversation across states. The quarter, therefore, served as a token of economic utility and social interaction, facilitating everything from laundry machines and toll booths to vending purchases and pinball games, embedding itself deeply in the tactile memory of everyday American routines. Though visually modest and generally overlooked, the quarter remained arguably the most versatile denomination in circulation, large enough to be meaningful, yet small enough to be ubiquitous. In terms of symbolism, the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" are not merely decorative elements, but rather reflections of the national ethos, repeated across billions of coin.